So you spoke in the presentation of how you made the pictures of the women out in Algeria for history, that you had Edward Curtis in mind, and that this was meant to be a long-lasting document. But when you made the pictures, did you have a sense of how you would preserve them? You made them for the military. How did you come to have the negatives, that you could control the pictures?
Comment est-ce que tu as pu récupérer tes négatifs quand, même si tu avais envie de faire quelque chose d'historique et d'important, comment est-ce que tu as pu appartenir? Comment ça a pu appartenir?
Vous avez prononcé le mot négatif, qui est un mot qui n'a jamais été prononcé pendant mon service militaire. Le commandant demandait une photo, je livrais une photo, un tirage donc. Et le négatif, ça n'existait pas. C'était une vue de l'esprit.
So you're asking the question that was never asked in the war. The commander-in-chief was asking me to deliver a picture, so to deliver a print. But the negatives, they were just,
C'est un mot qui n'a jamais été prononcé à l'époque.
This word was never said.
Le négatif n'avait de valeur et de sens que pour moi.
The negative was only valuable and making sense for me. The army didn't care.
Je les rangeais dans ma valise à la tête de mon lit, et quand le service a été fini, j'ai fermé le couvercle et je suis parti.
I was filing them up in my suitcase, and when my service was over after 2 years, I just wrapped it up and took it home with me.
Et je cours encore.
And I'm still running.
It's very interesting because, part of the what happens in the situation in the war and with colonialism is that they make identity cards, and the people are made subject to a kind of system of control. And so I would have thought that these negatives would become part of some kind of an archive that was a way for the government to maintain control. But it's very interesting that that is actually not what they were using them for. Just a comment.
Du colonialisme et à quel point cette guerre était une guerre coloniale. Donc, vu que c'était des photos d'identité pour être dans l'esprit de contrôle, ils pensaient peut-être que l'armée et le gouvernement voulaient garder ces négatifs pour...
Non, mais ce mot n'a pas été prononcé. Et je n'étais pas photographe militaire.
And I wasn't a military photographer.
J'étais dans un régiment où j'ai fait savoir que j'étais photographe. Et le commandant a dit, ça m'intéresse, et il m'a nommé photographe, mais comme ça, de façon très informelle.
I was not supposed to make archives for the war. It was just when I happened to be in that regiment, I just showed that I was able to do pictures. So, maybe I was going to be tasked to take some pictures. And then eventually the commander said, okay, well, I'm actually interested because I'm going to need IDs. So if you could take the picture of these women, but it wasn't nothing like official.
That's very interesting. Okay, so when you were photographing the women, and there's the gentleman who was asking about this in there, is the aspect of it that was a kind of intrusion or
l'intrusion dans la vie
the control was that of the fact that they were in war and they were subject to have identity cards made without their consent.
On leur faisait faire des papiers sans leur consentement et on les forçait à faire ça.
C'était la guerre. Il n'y avait pas de discussion possible. C'était un ordre militaire, point.
It was a military order, nothing else.
When you were making the pictures, I imagine that they perceived you as a representative of the military, but you were able to somehow convey, this is something that was clearly very important to you, the sense that you were giving them an opportunity to present themselves in dignity without language.
Donc en fait, c'est par rapport au fait que ces femmes-là étaient forcées et que quand tu les prenais en photo, elles te voyaient comme faisant partie de l'armée et que tu as quand même réussi à faire passer des choses dans les regards.
Le regard de chacun et les échanges de regards sont ce qu'ils sont. Et je n'avais pas un regard de l'armée, j'avais un regard de moi, Marc Garanger, personnel, qui entre parenthèses, je savais que cette guerre était une guerre coloniale. Et je savais que toutes les photos que j'allais faire pendant mon service seraient pour démontrer les horreurs commises par la France.
so my everything goes through the stair, and I was not being I don't consider myself as part of the military ever. I was Marc Garanger being forced to do this, and so I tried as much as I could without words, and body language says much more than words, and I knew that this was a colonial war, so I wanted to make a statement. These pictures were to be a statement of the horrors of the war and the horrors committed by France in Algeria.
I see. In fact, the pictures are the testimony that the women's opportunity to, let me say, it's almost more to show the people in France how these women can be, rather than to give the women individually necessarily the opportunity to, because they don't know what will happen to them or to you or to the pictures.
Donc dans le témoignage, c'est plus pour montrer à la France que ces femmes sont comment elles sont. Et en fait, il inverse au lieu enfin, tu redonnes de la dignité, mais en fait, c'est aussi pour montrer à la France à quel point c'était raciste.
Oui, mais c'est maintenant que je fais voir ces images.
I show those pictures now.
Mais à l'époque, j'ai simplement cadré 4 cm sur 4 le visage de ces femmes, et ils ont eu cette photo sur la carte d'identité. Mais il n'y avait pas de discours par rapport à la France.
There was, at the time, there was no speech about France. This is now how I present them, but in the time it was just 4x4 from the face, and it was just for IDs. It was for a card. I wasn't at the time making the statement. Later on, it did.
Et encore une fois, la première fois que j'ai présenté ces photos à l'officier, il a hurlé et il a dit venez voir comme elles sont laides, venez voir ces macaques, on dirait des singes.
And the first time I presented those pictures to the commander officer on the desk, he just looked at him and he laughed and he said, "Come on and look at those monkeys. Come check out the monkeys. How ugly they are." And that's where it comes from. The experience, through the experience of war.
Your experience,
Yeah.
yes. Well, I'm very happy that you've had the opportunity to show these pictures so much and that you have the recognition for them. And also glad to see your other work too, because you really are so well known for this body. So it was nice to see that as well. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Merci à vous.